So now that we have that set up, let's go over here to our Move 2D node and click on it and see what we got. Well, okay, now let me show you what we've just done actually. Let me click on my saturation tab, and now as you can see real close, you can see a reflection of the clouds on the rocks. It's very faint, but it's little details like this is what makes a difference. And then when I scroll through, can you see the clouds going over the rocks like that right there? I'm not sure if you can tell it much on YouTube, but when I scroll, if you watch over here, you'll see the clouds moving. That's our reflection of our clouds. Okay, let's zoom back out. Now let's start working on replacing our sky. So now I'm going to have a Move 2D node. I think I'm going to have to bring it down some and scale it up, but we'll figure that out in a minute. I'm going to add a fade. Go to color, fade. This way I can adjust it down just a tad so it won't be quite as prominent, you know. Now this is where this color comes in. I'm going to take this color, I'm going to go to my fade, go to my layers tab, select an overnode, and bring my color down into my overnode. Now this will blend our background better so we won't have that big black plate showing. Well, now that we have this, we're going to want to pop this into our tree over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click saturation. I'm going to add a layer tab, an overnode from the layer menu, and bring them together. Now we have sort of a composite going on, and you can see we're messed up here. Our sky isn't working, and you can see why we bring in our color. So what I'm going to do is, this is why I put my Move 2D node in. I'm going to select my Move 2D node and bring up the parameters. I'm going to scale it down. Now you can scale clouds amazingly high if you want to, because clouds are pretty symmetrical, and they're not symmetrical, but they're pretty flexible is what I meant to say, and you can stretch clouds and stuff without really having to worry about doing too much damage to them. So let me bring this down here a lot, and let me scale this up like that. There. Now we have us pretty much a simple completed composite, which went from this to begin with, and now we're at this, and when I scroll through, you'll see the clouds are moving, and the reflection on the rock is also going along with the reflection up top. Let me zoom in a little bit. If you watch right around in this area here, when I scroll, the clouds are moving, and they're matching the shadow on the rocks exactly. I mean, you can go in here and you can touch this up however you want to. You can go back into your brightness node, bring it down a little bit. As you can see now, when I adjust it, where I plugged my contrast luma into the side of my brightness and saturation, when I adjust my brightness, it's adjusting the cloud reflection. Can you see that there? Let me bring this down way low so you can see it real predominantly here. Now you can see how dark it is, and when I scroll through, those clouds are moving. You can see it real well. See there? Pretty nice, huh? So let me bring my brightness value back up a little bit, and let me bring my saturation value down. That's why I added saturation, to make my shadows black and white like a shadow should be. Now we have this wonderful composite, which I need to go in and maybe add a little bit of spill suppression and some blur to soften up the edges just a little bit more, because it's a little bit hard, got a little bit of a hard edge for my taste, but for YouTube purposes and for the purposes of learning how to do this, you get the idea. So now we have this wonderful composite that when you scroll through, we've replaced our sky, the clouds are rolling by with shadows. If you wanted to, you could juice it up a little bit, go to your overnode, layers tab, add a multi-layer. I have some rain. I'm going to add some rain to the scene, like so. You bring it down and plug it into my multi-layer. Now we have some rain over our scene, and I'm going to select the multi-layer, and I'm going to bring the opacity to this level down, to this layer down. Because on a multi-layer node, you can see here's layer 2, here's layer 1. You can have as many layers as you want. So I'm going to go into my layer 2 and bring the opacity down. so as the rain won't be so overwhelming. Like that. Now, what we don't have time to do is make a reflection of the rain. And that would be fair. That would be really easy. You just go about it the same way you made the reflection of the clouds. Same exact way. So now, let me go up here. Let me render a flipbook. Frames 1 through 90. Okay. Render. Now, as you can see, we're going to go through here and render a flipbook. It's a 90 frame scene, but I'm just going to let it render out 20 or so frames so you guys can get an idea. Like I said before, you want to take your time. If you get done with any of these jobs in less than 2 hours, like I said in another tutorial, they're going to think you're absolutely crazy. So take your time, do your masks right, do your color correction right, and don't get ahead of yourself. So now we got 30 frames rendered. Let me hit the period key to play it back. So as you can see, there we have our composite. We need to adjust the rain, of course, and you know, you could even take the rain out of there. I just threw that in there to jazz it up a little bit to give you all an idea of what's going on. Of course, you want to slow the rain down and blah, 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 blah. But, as you can see, it turns out to be a pretty good composite. Here's what we had to begin with. And here's what we've ended up with. So, tell me what you think. If you guys have any questions, let me know. www.finalcutstudioschool.com has all my contact information and some other tutorials you may be interested in. And I hope you learned something. We'll see you next time.